rules that we need to consider with trigonometric substitution. So if now the given integrand or the problem to be evaluated in indefinite integral has the following terms. So what if has the following terms? If the integrand now is containing a squared or constant a squared minus x squared, you may evaluate it by letting the value of the variable x equal now to a sine theta or x equal to a cosine theta. So sa'yo na yan. But commonly, we use sine theta. Kasi yung nasa book. And if now a squared plus x squared, we can let substitution for x equal now to a tangent theta. And lastly, if x squared minus a squared, such that we will then let x be equal now to a secant theta. So yan yung tatlong condition. If our integrand or the given problem to be evaluated using indefinite integral are in these forms. So a squared minus x squared should be then substitute x equal to a squared times sine theta, or x equal to a cosine theta, and x squared plus a squared plus x squared is x should now be equal to a tangent theta, and x squared minus a squared is x equal to a secant theta. Then we will then apply your basic knowledge with trigonometry. Pythagorean. So our example number 1. So our example, what if you're now asked to evaluate the indefinite integral? The indefinite integral of 4 minus x squared dx. Unang kita mo pa lang ng problem, mapapansin mo na that this problem can then be expressed the same with the conditions that trigonometric substitution allows. So 4 can be expressed as 2 squared minus x squared dx. Diba? That is now a squared minus x squared. So anong gagamitin nating part of our substitution? That we will then let x be equal now to a sine theta. Or simply that is x equal to 2 sine theta. Okay? Okay. And also x squared is simply equal to 4 sine squared theta, where the differential form of x equal to 2 sine theta is simply dx equal to 2 cosine theta d theta. Right? So by substitution, baka kasi kailanganin natin yung x. Yun nga, kailangan natin x squared. So by substitution, substitute lang natin. By substitution, integral of what? 4 minus x squared is what? 4 sine squared theta, while dx is outside the term, which is 2 cosine theta d theta. Okay? Simplify that problem. Mapapansin nyo, pwede pa natin i-simplify yan. So, naalala nyo yan, that is also equal to 4 times 1 minus sine squared theta. And 2 cosine theta d theta. Ano yan? Identities. That is also the same as the square root of 4 cosine squared theta of 2 cosine theta d theta. Okay? Multiply lang natin yung ating exponent. No? That is, square root of 4 cosine squared theta is simply 2 cosine theta. Tama ba? Tama, cosine theta. And multiply to 2 cosine theta d theta. Right? Simplify, that is now 4 cosine squared theta and d theta. Anong integral yan? Integral formula, type 2. Trigonometric functions which has an even positive integer. Identities for an even positive integers, those are 1 plus cosine 2 theta all over 2 d theta. Labas lang natin si 1/2. That is simply 2 times the integral of 1 plus cosine 2 theta d theta. Simplify further, that is 2 integral of d theta plus 2 integral of cosine 2 theta d theta. O ano yan? That is simply 2 theta. Ano yun? Cosine 2 theta, correcting factor 1/2. Correcting factor 1/2. 1/2. Then, from 1/2, integral of cosine is what? Positive sine. So, 2 times 1/2 is basically 1. So, that is now sine 2 theta plus c. So, yan na yung ating final form with this one. But that is not yet our final answer. Note, that is 2 theta plus sine 2 theta plus c. Or which is also can be expressed as 2 theta plus 2 sine theta, kasi sine 2 theta yon, sine theta of cosine 2 theta plus c. With that, remember from our substitution or from our conditions that if we say that x is equal to 2 sine theta, it is also possible that the term or trigonometric term sine theta is simply equal to x over 2. But based on our Pythagorean, that is, ano yung sine? Opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite, hypotenuse over opposite. Right? Ay, tama ba? Opposite over hypotenuse. So, opposite over hypotenuse. Ito yung ating thing. Where sa theta is also expressed as arc or negative sign, arc sine x over 2. Diba? And to complete the triangle, the adjacent is simply what? Tawag na dito 4 minus x squared. Diba? Which is base is all the same from our original form. So, substitution ulit. Balik na natin siya using the original form. So, from our final answer kanina, 2 theta plus 2 sine theta cosine 2 theta plus c, cosine theta, sine theta, that is now 2 times theta, which is arc sine x over 2, plus 2 sine theta is x over 2, cosine theta, ano yung cosine theta? Hypotenuse over, adjacent over hypotenuse. That is square root of 4 minus x squared all over 2 plus c. Simplify lang natin yan. That is simply 2 arc sine x over 2 plus x over 2 times 2, cancel, x over 2 square root of 4 minus squared plus. So, yan na ngayon yung ating final answer. Gets po yan? Hello? Ko ba yan? Anybody?
Yes, sir. Sir, tanong lang po. Dun sa baba, sir, yung sin to theta. Bakit po naging sin theta cosine theta, sir?
Identities mo, tay.
Ay, okay, sir. Thank you.
So, number 2, don't forget your basics in trigo as well as differential calculus. Problem number 2, you're now asked to evaluate the indefinite integral of y squared dy all over 9 minus y squared raised to 3 halves, which can also be expressed as what? Parehas lang naman siya as y squared dy. Kung ang binigay originally as the problem is y squared dy all over 9 minus y squared raised to 3. Parehas lang. Parehas lang. Doon tayo nasa exponential form. So, anong gagawin natin dyan? Ito yung ating u. Anong ibang form niyan? That is simply 3 squared minus y squared. Na yung from our conditions to trigonometric substitution, that is a squared minus x squared. So, ganun ulit. That is y is simply equal to 3 sine theta. Differential form, that is dy of 3 cosine theta d theta and squared, that is 9 sine squared theta. Substitute lang natin dun sa ating integrand. By substitution, y squared is 9 sine squared theta, dy is 3 cosine theta d theta all over that is 9 minus y squared, 9 sine squared theta raised to 3 halves. From looking as it is na, mayroon ka nang nakikitang solution dyan, oh. Dali-dali. That is 9 times 3, that is 27 sine squared theta of cosine squared theta d theta. Ito ko na i-transform ito, ah. It is just the same as 9, 1 minus sine squared theta raised to 3 halves. Diba? Parehas lang. Or, that is 9 raised to 3 halves times sine squared. Or, that is also what? 27 cosine squared theta. Do not forget your identity. That is 27 cosine squared theta. Cancel lang natin yung constant. It's simply cosine squared, cosine cube. Take 3 raised. Wala yun. Oo. Squared, cosine squared, tapos raised to 3 halves. That is raised to 3 theta. Theta. Simplify, integral of sine squared theta cosine theta d theta all over cosine cube theta. Diba? Cancel, cancel, which is also sine squared theta all over cosine squared theta d theta. Sine over cosine is simply what? Tangent. Then square theta. Identities. Type 4, integral formula. Second, squared minus 1 d theta. Diba? O, distribute secant squared theta d theta minus the integral of d theta. Meron tayong exact integral form ni secant squared, right? Integral of secant squared theta is basically positive tangent theta minus theta plus c. Again, that is not yet our final answer. Remember, from our problem, sine can also be expressed, or sine theta is expressed as y over 3. Or in our triangle, Pythagorean, theta is now what? Hypotenuse. That is now right. Opposite over hypotenuse. Or simply, your adjacent is 9 plus y squared. Halos parehas na naman doon sa original form. So, with that, tangent can also be expressed as y. Tangent theta expressed as y over 9 minus y squared. Right? Or theta is equal to arc tangent y over square root of 9 minus squared. Substitute lang natin doon sa ating final answer. Tangent theta is y over square root of 9 minus y squared minus theta, which is arc tangent y over square root of 9 minus y squared plus your integration. So, yan na ngayon yung ating final answer. Kuha po iyan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, try to solve this. Siguraduhin nyo ha. Isa lang yung sumasagot. Mamaya, well, hindi ko pa naman na-check yung that is again y equal to 3 sine theta differential dy equal to 3 cosine theta d theta. Y squared is simply 9 sine squared theta. Substitute lang natin doon sa ating original form. Y squared is 9 sine squared theta. Dy is 3 cosine theta d theta all over, that is 9 minus 9 sine squared theta raised to, alam naman na natin yung ibig sabihin ng expression na yan, is 27 of sine squared theta times cosine squared cosine theta d theta all over square root of 9 1 minus sine squared theta. Diba? So, that is the same as the identity of cosine squared theta. Then square root of 9 cosine squared theta. Square root of 9 times cosine squared theta is simply 3 sine theta. 3 cosine. Tama. Divide. Cancel. That is now what? 9 sine squared theta d theta. Bagal ng internet. Diba? Ganun din lang yan. And remember your trigonometric formulas. A trigonometric function that has an even exponent, a cosine and sine function that has an even exponent, type 2. So, labas lang natin si constant. Sine squared theta is the same as 1 minus cosine 2 theta all over 2d. Right? Simplify. 9 times 1 half is 9 half d theta minus 9 half of cosine 2 theta d theta plus c. Again, meron niyang correcting 1 half. So simplify your answer there. That is 9 half of theta minus 9/4 of sine 2 theta plus c. Or that is the same as 9 half theta minus 9/4 sine theta of cosine theta, right? Plus c. Okay, that is 2. That is 2 sine theta and cosine theta plus c. Identities po. Sine 2 theta is also the same as 2 sine theta and cosine theta. From that, pwede na nating gawin yung ating last part for this substitution. Remember your triangle y from y equal to 3 sine theta, where sine theta is simply equal to what? Tawag na dyan, opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. D theta. D9 minus y. Parang yung last time din. Problem kanina. Or, theta is simply arc sine y over 3. Substitute natin dito. Ganun lang. 2 and 9 over 2 times theta, which is arc sine y over 3. And minus, that is 9 times 2 all over 4, which is 9 over 2. Sine theta, which is y over 3. Cosine theta, adjacent over hypotenuse. That is 9 minus y squared over 3 plus c. And simplify further. 9 half of arc sine y over 3 minus, that is now 9 half times 1/3 times 1/3, that is 1 half of y times square root of 9 minus y squared plus Yan na ngayon yung ating final answer problem. Naintindihan po? Dali lang naman, no? Alalahanin nyo lang yung Pythagorean ninyo. Question po. Hello.
None, sir.
Do you need more example ba? Okay lang. Okay, last one time. Bali, meron pa namang ibang example doon. Yung mod. What if you're now asked to evaluate this given problem? Evaluate the indefinite integral of dx over x squared times x squared minus 4 raised to 3 halves. Ano pag ganyan yung problem? Meron ulit tayong term sa problem na x squared minus 4, which is based on the condition of trigonometric substitution that is also the same as x squared minus a squared. So that is let equal now to x equal to 2 secant theta. Theta naman ngayon. Differential, that is now dx equal what? The differential of secant. 2 secant theta and tangent theta d theta. Where x squared is simply equal to 4 secant squared. Right? Right. Okay. And, gagawin natin dyan next. Substitution na. By substitution, substitute lang natin dun sa original form. That is now dx. Integral of dx, which is 2 secant theta times tangent theta d theta all over x squared, which is 4 secant squared theta times x squared, which is again 4 secant squared theta minus 1 raised to 3 halves. Yan yun, di ba? Pwede ko nang isimplify itong nasa loob. Kita nyo naman. 2 secant theta times tangent theta d theta all over 4 secant theta. Mamaya na natin. Secant squared theta. Mamaya na yan. And 4 secant squared theta. Ito, pwede ko nang isimplify yan. 4 raised to 3 halves is what? 8. Diba? 4 din ito. O, 4 din yun. So, labas ko lang si 4. So, 4 raised to 3 halves is 8. Secant squared minus 1 is the same from your identities of tangent squared theta. That is 8 tangent. Tangent squared theta raised to 3 halves is the same as 3 halves raised 3 halves is equal to 3. So, tangent cube theta. Simplify. 2, that is 2 times 8, 116. Susundan ba yung constants? 2/4 is 1 half. 1 half times 8 is 116. Labas ko na yung constant. Kaya 1 over 16. Tapos, secant squared. So, 1. Meron tayong isang secant sa baba. Tapos, tangent na lang yung nasa taas. Tangent cube theta, d theta. Or, again, that is 1/16 of cancel is d theta over secant theta tangent squared. Right? Then yun. Ako dito sa same. Simplify natin. 1/16 integral of d theta over secant theta tangent squared theta is the same as 1/16 integral of d theta over secant is the reciprocal of cosine theta, right? So that is also cosine theta. While tangent theta ay tangent squared theta, baliktarin lang natin yung exponent. That is cosine squared theta over sine squared theta d theta. Okay? Or distribute over 16 cosine cube theta over sine squared theta d theta. Apply your identities ulit. That is 1/16 of 1. That is cosine with a positive odd integer. So 1 minus sine squared theta times yung cosine na isa. So just the same as cosine cube theta. Then reciprocal, that's sine -2 theta d theta. Kita na natin yung common terms natin. Distribute 1/16 of sine -2 theta minus tawag na dito 2 theta ron pa pala yung cosine theta minus sine 2 theta times sine -2 theta of cosine theta, so minus cosine theta d theta. Distribute lang natin si antiderivative sine raised to -2 theta cosine theta minus 1/16 of cosine theta. Okay? Remember that sine theta has a differential form of negative cosine theta. Makakancel na natin yan. Mag-introduce ka lang ng correcting factor, -1. With that, 1/16 times -1 is -1/16. Power rule na lang si sine raised to -2. -2 plus 1 is -1. So that is now sine raised to -1 theta over -1 minus integral of cosine theta is positive sine plus c. Simplify further. That is now 1 over -1/16 of sine theta minus 1/16 sine theta plus c. Remember that 1 over sine theta is the reciprocal of secant. 1/16 of cosecant theta minus 1/16 sine theta plus c. So yan na ngayon yung ating basis for the next part of our substitution. Okay? From the secant, ano ang secant? Secant is what? Hypotenuse over adjacent. Diba? Yung secant natin kanina, x is simply equal to 2 secant theta, or it's the same as secant theta is equal to x over 2. On our triangle, Pythagorean mo na naman, theta, that is what? Hypotenuse over adjacent. Square root of x squared minus 4. Right? Right. Substitute. 1/16 of cosecant theta. Ano ang cosecant? 1/16 of cosecant theta. Ang cosecant, again, is opposite over, hypotenuse over reciprocal ni sine. 4 minus 1/16 of sine theta. Again, sine theta, opposite over hypotenuse. X squared minus 4 over x. Yan na ba ang gagawin natin for our, yan na ba ang gagamitin nating final answer? Huwag naman. Pwede pa nating isimplify yan. That is negative 1/16 of x over square root of x squared minus 4 plus square root of x squared minus 4 over x plus c. Or negative 1/16, di pala or. Simplify mo pa. Simply equal now negative 1/16 over x times x over square root of x squared minus 4. Perform your LCD. X times square root of x squared minus 4 times x divided by x squared minus 4 times x is simply x squared. Right? And that divided by that times that is x squared minus 4. Makakancel na yung square root natin. Is x squared minus 4 plus x squared, that is 2x plus c. Gusto nyo pa 2x squared minus 4 over 16x square root of x squared minus 4 plus c. Ngayon, yung final integral or integrated form of dx over x squared times x squared minus 4 raised to 3. Yan na yung final answer natin in that problem. With that said, try to solve this exercise problems. Tawag na dyan. Try to solve integral of 9x squared minus 4 all over x squared dx and dy over y times 4 plus y squared raised to 3 halves and square root of 16 minus x squared over x dx and integral of y squared times y squared plus 1. Try to solve these 4 problems on your own. Pagpraktisan nyo lang kung masosolve ninyo. Okay? Then, converse with your classmate if you have the same solution. Okay? Pagpraktisan. Hindi yan assignment, hindi yan challenge, walang premyo pag nasagutan. Just try to answer the problem for your, tawag na rin yan, para sa inyo rin yan pag nasagutan ninyo. So, practice nyo yan. Question po.